training works out for you. So today we're going to talk about a couple things here. In addition to reporting, I'm going to do a quick overview of the websites. Now, if this is stuff that you've already covered, let me know and I can skip it or skip through it. So, have you gone over any of the resources, website resources yet?
Just touchly briefed on a couple, but we have not viewed the website or anything like
Okay.
that. We knew you were coming.
Okay. All right. We'll cruise through there and stuff too then. Thanks again. Key part here, of course, is Council Outdoor Ethics Advocates. You guys and your teams are vital to what we're trying to accomplish, supporting your council's outdoor programs, and promoting outdoor ethics, and by extension of that, also some of you are probably involved in conservation and sustainability efforts in your councils. So, and being the connection to Scouting's outdoor ethics and conservation community is the key role of the outdoor ethics advocate. And by attending this training and meeting people and getting involved, you're, building bridges. So thanks for your contributions to that. Let's see if I can get my notes up so I see that. It's not showing my notes either, so we'll wing it. And okay, that's a slide here. Slides are not advancing. Let's go advance the slide. Come on. Oh, okay. So today what I'm going to talk about is some of the ways that we can support you, and some of that's resources, and some of it's some tools we've put together that help you with some of the things that you are being asked to do. So. Topics, website resources. We'll give you a quick overview of our kind of a key resources, our scoutingoec.org. And then we'll also talk about the outdoor ethics advocate tools. And that'll actually have a separate presentation, but we'll jump to that one as soon as we finish this one. So, get to that later. I know we throw around a lot of terminology and abbreviations and TL three-letter acronyms and things like that. And I don't know if you've covered all this, but if you hear me, saying OE or OE&C, that's Outdoor Ethics and Conservation. The Outdoor Ethics Advocate comes in various flavors. It used to be more consistent, but now we have the Council Outdoor Ethics Advocates. We have the Council Service Territory Team Leads. I think some of you are the team leads. Some of you are advocates. Some maybe are just interested in learning about this so you can support efforts in your council. And then we have our OE&C division managers. I assume you've talked about the support structure. Yes. Okay. I think I saw a head nod there.
Yep.
And then MTT is Tread Lightly Master Tread Trainer. So if you see these acronyms, that's a quick introduction to them. So our primary outdoor ethics resources are Scouting America. They have scouting.org, and that has everything scouting. So that has the programs and the publications and training and stuff. And that has outdoor ethics information and resources that are basically for all scouters and scouts. So this is things that the general, scouting public wants to know about. On the another resource out there is Leave No Trace. Leave No Trace organization has lnt.org as their website. They have everything general Leave No Trace information and resources for anybody who wants to know about Leave No Trace. And then finally, our website that is supported by our subcommittee is Scouting America's Outdoor Ethics and Conservation website. That's scoutingoec.org. And that basically is resources that are targeted to folks like you who are learning and teaching and promoting outdoor ethics and conservation to a lesser extent in scouting. And so the stuff that's here is targeted to how do we do outdoor ethics in the scouting program. There are a few other things. Tread Lightly has certainly has resources out there for motorized activities that we can, when we're doing those kinds of activities, they can be a key resource for that. We have links between these. So each of these links to the others. And we, other than duplicate stuff, it's not a good idea to duplicate information. With the web, it works great. Instead of me having to copy something from someplace and post it on my website, I just provide a link. And so there will be a lot of links, from our, by the way, does my cursor show up when I wiggle it here? See a cursor? If there's a pointer.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it
Great.
does.
Yep,
Okay,
I
just
see
double
it.
checking. Thanks. So, we will, refer you to Leave No Trace for certain kinds of information. And there's even some things out on the Leave No Trace website that refer people back here when they want to learn more about scouting related things. There's a lot of links back and forth here between the Scouting America parts of the program and the dedicated parts here. And we do have a few links to tread lightly. So again, don't want to avoid, so there's one source for everything so that it's easier to maintain. If something changes, and things are always changing all the time, then there's only one place you have to fix it. You don't have to fix it multiple places. So in this Scouting America outdoor programs is where to go for outdoor programs, including the outdoor ethics stuff. It's getting information for everybody. OE Action Awards and Awareness Awards, guide and advisor handbooks, the Teaching Leave No Trace manual, and of course, all sorts of conservation. The other program areas under outdoor programs are the aquatics and the climbing and the cope and all that's great stuff out there. But again, be warned, every place you go, some places parts are out of date because so much has been changing. Our Scouting America Outdoor Ethics and Conservation website then, as basically this is the landing page you wanna put in your browser, scoutingoec.org/news. We used to have it so you could go scoutingoec.org, but part of the directive we got from National was they don't want us sending people there. We want us to start at the national website. So if you go to the scoutingoec.org, it forwards you to outdoor ethics on the national website, and then you can go down and find the links to get back to the more detailed information. If you go to news directly, then you can short circuit that redirect if you want to get to the details that we have on news, events, trainings. Like this training was advertised there. Updates, opportunities, resources, especially if you're doing training. Where can you find PowerPoints? Where can you find handouts? Where can you find the syllabus? Where can you find the standards? All that stuff is there. Our roundtables we've been doing for 3-4 years now. The archives of them are all out there, so there's an amazing amount of interesting topics. Go browse that site and see if just again, things that happened 4 years ago. Some of the terminology will have changed. It may be out of date a little, but there are a lot of great concepts out there. There's a calendar. Our level 2 instructor courses are on the calendar. If you have a level 1 instructor course that you want advertised beyond just your council, for instance, you can submit it and have it listed on our calendar. This too is that we have databases behind all this. So we have contacts, we have administrative access to that, and then outdoor ethics advocate tools we're going to talk about. And a little bit on the awards. So some of the awards that everybody needs to know about are out on the scouting.org, but we have some of our internal award, or one of our internal awards. There's more information about the outdoor code. There's a web store if you want to get a shirt with outdoor ethics logo on it, etc. That's all stuff you can choose from scoutingoec.org.
Mark, we have a question in chat.
Okay, I don't see the chat, so yep.
So it said, what happened to the BSA wilderness use policy?
So I posted that. This is Jeff Newman, Golden Gate Area Council. Excuse me. I have an awareness slide set that I've been toting around for years, and used it at a couple of University of Scoutings just in the last 3 weeks. And one of my slides is reference to this wilderness use policy.
Yeah.
Which was really useful because it talked about contacting landowners and about using Leave No Trace as guidance, not as hard policy. It was just some of those, a nice place to summarize a lot of our stances on outdoor use. I went looking for, my link to this on the scouting.org site was a dead link, so where did it go? And it appears to have been completely removed from the national site. And I was just wondering if there's anybody amongst this team who can comment on what decisions were made and why and what's going on.
Anybody want to take a shot at that, or I'll tell. I can say something about it. I guess I didn't point out, but let me go back here and we have control over what we have on this website Scouting America has a whole, that's all run from national, and um, they make a lot of decisions about things. They have tons of different programs, tons of different committees that deal with things. My understanding is they have essentially obsoleted that. I never heard at all what any of the rationale was behind that. I agree. It was a useful document, and it's been around they've had that policy or that document for ages and ages, and it seemed useful. So, but I have no idea why I think I heard that they are essentially obsoleting it. Anybody else have any insight?
No, when you go on to where it used to be, it then goes back and now references leave no trace directly and stuff. So I think they just instead, same thing. It just, instead of duplicating information, they just narrowed it down.
Decided it was somewhat redundant, huh?
Yeah.
From an old timer, this was a really useful thing, and I miss it. So get that back to National's ear.
Okay. All right. So next, let's go we're going to take a look here. And I think I can do this. I probably can't. I probably have to share this now, don't I? Stop that share. Start share. Hold on to it's just a second here. So I just jumped us into a section of this. I guess I could back up and figure out, show you how you get here. But this happens to be this is resources page. Let's actually get. I'll start you back where I said to go to, which is the news. Okay, here's the. Many of you are probably very familiar with all this stuff, but if if there are some that aren't, we'll go through it here. So this is kind of the landing page for that bottom bubble. There's the news and reminders are out here. We have the upcoming events calendar. This is again things that we know of from National, including our level 2 instructor courses and that kind of stuff. And then any level 1 courses that people have told us about that we put on the calendar, get in here, training, etc. It's going to resources is one of the key ones that you're going to want to know about. And then there's just the general ones, the PDF of the Teaching Leave No Trace, links to those, the old video and some of the newer videos for general introductions, Dr. Jeff Marion's book. There's things on this page. There is a key things you might want to do if you're going to be doing a level 1 instructor course. There's a resource page for that. So this comes in several sections. Kind of the top level is basically your course manual, your ME handbook, but is key resource when you're presenting that. Leave No Trace Instructor Supplement is, again, key information about how Leave No Trace is implemented in Scouting's programs. Remind you that you need to be current. Some key resources then that useful for all courses. Presentations and background materials by course section for the level 1 course. These are some new slide sets as of this past summer. Had Josh Lamoth went through and took all of our existing key slide sets here and got them all up to date and up to consistent standards, style guidelines and everything. So those kind of are here. They're listed as a separate section so that they're easy to get at, the new ones. And then per section, if you look at your level 1 instructor manual, there's a whole bunch of different sections to that, and there's resources under each section. Most of the sections have some additional resources listed. And then at the bottom here are course forms and paperwork that you're going to need. So all the way from when you want to do one and getting the course, the form submitted to get permission to do it. It's important to, I don't know if you talked about that, it's important to fill out that form and submit it. That's basically sort of the legal document that says, yes, this course is being conducted under the auspices of the council. That gets you the council insurance. It gets you, make sure the council knows what you're doing and all that good stuff. Health and medical record they'll need, the Leave No Trace as course release form, which you'll have to submit. A course evaluation you're going to have your participants fill out. training cards that you can give to them afterwards. Certificates you don't print, but you submit the roster gets submitted to Leave No Trace, and then they will check that the instructor is actually certified and up to date. And if it is, they'll send the certificates back to the instructor and distribute to the participants. You can do recognition pinner patches. You'll need to fill out training attendance report. And if you've covered all this, let me know. I can skip through it faster here. That training attendance report gets turned into your council, so their trainings get on their training record. And No Trace has you submit the roster from your level 1 course to them, so they have the record. And of course, doing that gets you the certificates as well. And we have an easier way to do some of this stuff, and we'll talk about that later. Because otherwise, you have to fill this out, all the list here, and then you have to fill it out again here. And anyway, some notes here that if you want to use the mail merge, if you have a whole bunch of people and you don't want to type them individually and you have a list, you can do that. But anyway, that's kind of the resources that you'll find for level 1. There's a similar one for level 2 if you were involved in a level 2 course. There's we don't have it for skills because for the most part we're using Leave No Traces for skills, but there is information about the Leave No Trace Basics course, and again, not as much resources because it's a much shorter course, but some of the same paperwork stuff that you would need is there in the course guides. So resources, there's some things about skits, there's books, and then there's a whole more resources page, the list of the advocate responsibilities, the indicators of healthy program, some ideas for skits, OE promotion displays, some fun videos. There's so many videos out there, but these are some that have kind of been vetted and decided to add to the list. Posters, online trainings, other Leave No Trace resources. Something from our national events when we have National Jamboree and stuff. They have banners that they do on the trail, and they made some of those available if you're interested in seeing the graphics for those banners. And then the other thing we have here is all the conferences that we've had all the way going back to 2014. We have various amounts of the presentations and the videos and all the resources that were presented at those conferences. So different resources by topics, then again, sort of the same topics, but some things you might want to use here. So that's and to get to that is again, from this main resources page, there's some more resources. Let's see, anything else I want to point out here? Outdoor ethics orientation information's here. Paul is going to get us an updated version of that soon. A little bit on Tread Lightly, and one thing I will mention here, sure, let's do this now. Training promotion guidelines. So there have been a lot of stuff changed here lately, and so we want to make sure that we are following the guidelines from Leave No Trace about their brand standards, and we're following BSA's brand standards. I keep saying the BSA. I'm horribly it's horribly ingrained in my head. It's not BSA anymore. It's Scouting America's guidelines. Getting to that. So key things here, we don't use BSA or Boy Scouts of America now. We are Scouting America. We are, legally we're Boy Scouts of America, DBA, doing business as Scouting America. We don't use BSA 101. That's been changed to call it Basics because Leave No Trace came up with the 101. We don't no longer Leave No Trace trainers and master educators. Some of these things have happened several years ago, but if you have resources that you've used in the past, and you just grab them and try to use them again, there will be terminology that's out of date. So it's no longer a Leave No Trace awareness workshop anymore. No Trace now just calls it a Leave No Trace shop. So we don't use the word awareness apparently anymore. Scouting America programs, we don't use girl in front of scout, all that stuff. So if you submit one of your courses to us and you have a flyer or information on the website, we will take a quick look at it. And if we see these kinds of things, we will, we as in the big we, I will do this sometimes, but often it's your division managers that will get back to you and say, could you please have them update this? So, and again, this is part of, we want to be good partners with Leave No Trace and follow their guidelines. And we certainly want to represent Scouting America like Scouting America wants to be represented. So, and it comes into the old logos too. So the logos, leave no trace logo, you can count them up here. And I have several more before this even. But they went through an older one and then this one, and then we were using this one, and then we were using this one, and they didn't like that color. And so then a couple years later, they said, no, use this color. And we went to this, and now we're finally at this as their official logo. So if you're using this to promote your Leave No Trace trainings, please use the right logo. And we have, to make this easy for you, have this logos page. As our outdoor ethics logos, some of our, OE Guide, Scouting America, Outdoor Ethics and Conservation. If you're doing something that's joint, bigger versions of this. And if you're doing something like a banner, we have again higher resolution versions of some of these that I can get you. So traces, logos, and tread lightly. And you can just, right click these and copy and paste them into your documents to make sure you're using them. Any questions so far on all that stuff?
One comment, one of the things that's on the branding site for this year is the 250th anniversary of the U.S. There's a special graphic with that, with the Scouting America graphic. And
Okay.
it's really snazzy, and I encourage its use.
That's on BSA,
It's on the
Scouting America.
scouting.org, the
Okay.
branding site.
Okay. Scouting.org. Okay. I'll make a note of that. Thank you. All right. Any questions about resources? Let's go back and take a look at a couple other things here. The calendar, mentioned that. This is the events we have going on. What's not showing on the calendar? Hadn't looked at that. That's not much
Hey,
use.
hey,
What's going
Mark,
on? Gotta fix the calendar. Make a note.
if you've got flyers or business cards or stuff like that, can you use them up, continue to use them until they're gone rather than have to throw that away and just waste money?
I guess that depends on how old they are. I my take on things like banners and stuff would have Leave No Trace logos that, if I'd have to spend $40 to get a new banner, things like that. It's a little bit like the impacts. Um, you try to eliminate the avoidable use of the old logos. So if it's something you're going to be printing, just get the new one into your document and print the new ones. And if it's something you already have, and then the second phase of that is minimize the unavoidable uses of the old logo. So it's a judgment thing in my mind. So again, if it's real old, I encourage you to go with new ones. Sources calendar. Fix the calendar. That's really weird. Awards. Just a little bit about this has the links to the Scouts BSA, sorry, scouting.org information on the awards and then our Outdoor Ethics Distinguished Service Award. And contacts is the other key thing. Have you talked at all about this? So I'll get into this a little bit more in terms of the details of the database we have behind this and stuff, but pick a council and tell you if we have a outdoor ethics advocate, a team leader, the manager, and then Leave No Trace level 2 instructors. So that's useful, hopefully, for you and for other people to find resources.
So Mark, while we're there, there were several questions this morning about, as the COEA, how to get a hold of the people who have stars next to their name. So when you get to that point, that was a huge question this morning, because how do you contact somebody that has no contacts under those instructors?
Yep, good question, and we will cover that. Okay, so anything else? Let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else I need to cover on the website. Let me jump back to this other presentation and we'll continue on that. And about those, calendar supposedly has all this stuff on it. Last time I looked, it was, we did talk about the promotion standards and submitting your training course to be listed. If you go down to the bottom of the calendar, there's a link that says Council Outdoor Ethics advocates are encouraged to submit their council's OE training courses for listing on our calendar. So that'll get you to a web page that gives you all the information about how to submit your courses to be listed. Okay. Contacts, mentioned about this. The contacts are basically the secure online database that is maintained by our subcommittee and you all, okay? We need everybody's help in maintaining that. This is not tied at all to Scouting America's official membership database. That's, we have no links to that whatsoever. So somebody's no longer in Scouting, or, Scouting may know about it, but we don't. So we need your help to help us keep that information up to date. And we will talk more about how we do that. It basically has people in it, our OE advocates, the council, and we can list if you have big council and you are organized so that you have a committee that has district OE advocates, which some councils do, and you want them listed on your website as part of the contacts for your council, we can do that. We list Leave No Trace Level 2 instructors, and we don't list the Master Tread trainers in general because we don't have a good way to keep that information up to date. And tread lightly, keep it up to date. And again, key things that it does, it supports Scouters finding key OE contacts in their council or nearby councils. And it gives us on the subcommittee a way to get to you all and reach out and communicate and giving you news and updates and good stuff. So, keeping this up to date, we keep our OE community for those updates, and that page will tell us how individuals can go in and update their own contact info. So if you bring up one of those contact pages listing in the council, you'll see a link at the bottom that says, please see our contact update page for details. Individuals can go in and update their own info and other kinds of changes. This says basically, let us know at updates. So if you have a new COEA, if you have one of your people one of the emails invalid and they want a different one listed, you can go change that on their own. And then how you all update stuff, how all that gets updated is going to be our next topic. Constant changes. So again, this is part of what keeps me off the streets. This is just a list of some of the kinds of things that have changed in the last 10 years. And when we have information, and we have hundreds of pages of information out there, and whoever thought that BSA would not be a term that we could use? And there were probably thousands of mentions of BSA in our website and our documents and everything, and now we're not supposed to use it anymore. And there's no nice acronym, so everything gets anyway on and on. But so if you find things that look out of date, let us know, and we'll try to get them updated. Beyond the website, certainly the roundtables are a great way that we communicate. Is this bar? Is this blocking things? It is blocking things. Communication beyond the website. So roundtables are a key thing. I encourage you, if you haven't attended the roundtables, if you haven't looked through the archives, please start attending the roundtables. Lots of great information. We have a YouTube channel that basically is if you go here, you'll get the archives with the presentations and links and notes and stuff like that. You can also go to YouTube and you'll get the video of the roundtable presentations. We also have various presentations from past conferences, a little bit on some of our past trainings and stuff. There's Facebook page, there's Instagram. Facebook has like 1,500 people on it. Instagram has less than 100. Occasionally we have articles in the Trail to Adventure blog, which is the Outdoor Programs blog and newsletter. So summary, this scoutingoec.org/news should be would often be, for you folks, would be the first stop for looking for resources on how to do trainings and various things like that. And again, let us know what we can do to help make it more useful to you. And you can get a hold of me at webmaster@scouting-oec.org. Any questions on this segment?
There was a question mark. Why isn't there a navigation across all the pages of the website?
Okay, good question. That was again part of National's directive. They didn't Again, at one point they wanted everybody to go to national and get to everything from there. So part of the directive we got was take off your navigation banners on all your pages. And I had several people that explained, I mean, this went on for a year and a half or so, and had several people explain how tedious that was for them. And so I snuck them back on, but don't tell, I keep my head low here. And if they come back and say, so it's on some pages, not on all pages. If they come back and say take it off, I'll have to take it off again. Sorry, it used to be on all the pages. Okay, next one. Next topic here. Oh, not that one.
Ian just asked, is there a master list of resources available?
A master list. Yes and no. So no, you can't go find the website right now and find a huge long master list of that. One of my tasks that have been asked to do about 3 weeks ago, and we're working on it, is putting together a master list of all the resources and their status and whether they need updating. And so far it's at about 100 pages, and I probably have another 80 to add to that. So maybe that's a good question. Maybe it's something we'll make available once we complete that. Pass it on up the chain to the folks who are asking for it. So make a note of that. It's available. List of. Try to categorize them so that if I gave you a huge long list, I think it would be somewhat overwhelming. So we have, again, attempted to provide some structure to that with the ability to go out to the resources and click on the level 1 instructor page, for instance, and see the list of things that are most relevant to that. So again, that was sort of the approach to it. But that's how we got there. Okay, real quick here from the beginning. Then again, the Outdoor Ethics Advocate tools are for Council Outdoor Ethics Advocates, for the CST team leads, and for the division managers. Has your council's contacts, your council's surveys, and it has this optional event reporting tool that you could choose to use if you want to. And to get to that, you would start out at scoutingoec.org/OEA tools. Okay. Terminology, yeah, we did this again. But what's behind this? This is our secure database. It's maintained by us. It's not tied to scouting. It has people in it. It supports those things. And it gives you access to your contacts, your annual reports, and your events if you choose to use that. There's a quick QR code if you want to get to it. If you go to that page, you will see this, basically description of it, and you'll see this box that says get your key. Whoops, sorry, I advanced before I wanted it. Get your key, you plug in your email address and submit that. And if your email address is in our database as the Council Outdoor Ethics Advocate or as a team lead, then you will get an email back that gives you a link, essentially, that will get you to your page. And then, ideally bookmark that page so you can just jump to it in the future and not have to go through this every time you want to go visit your private page. It looks like this when it comes up. The one on the right here, basically it would say welcome and your name, your council, your list of contacts. There's 2 links here. One is your current ones, one that shows all of the ones that used to be in your council and aren't there anymore, perhaps. May give you a list of past surveys that have been filled out by your council. And then if you have signed up for the OE event reporting, it would be your links to that are over here. Blew this up a little bit more, so this looks like over. Done. I'm going to talk about the OE contacts part of this. You click on that, you'll get a page that looks something like this over on the right. Is this stuff blocking it, by the way? slides. Basically, it gives a list of the people in your council, and this is where you get their emails and phone numbers that we don't publish. So this has information we have in our database, but things that they have not given us permission to make public. But because you have a need to be able to get a hold of them, you will have access to those emails and phone numbers. Okay, but the reminder is that information they've given to us in confidentiality, and so we don't want you printing this out and handing this out to a bunch of people. This is, for you as the COEA only, so you can do your job, but we're still respecting everybody's privacy. And I'll show you a little bit more details here about what's up on that top of that page. Name, council, city, role, email and phone if we have a permission list, confidential information, emails, phone, and the thing you would see I didn't point out there is their status, and we need you to help us maintain that as well. So you can get out your annual reports and the event reporting, and you do this through your OEA tools and that link that I told you how to get. And then there's a whole bunch of other private information we have in our database that, in general is further restricted that you would need to know about. But here's a blow up of this. We ask you to please help. We're depending on you to help us keep this up to date. Please contact your people. Ideally, we suggest you do that once a year, like this time of year. Verify their status. So we let you indicate, are they still current? So if they're still a current Scouting America member and they still want to be listed on your council's contacts webpage, then you simply click verify or re-verify if it's somebody previously verified. You click that, and that's it. They're done. If they don't meet these criteria, then we ask you to go click on the update status button and give us some more information about why, and I'll show you that on the next slide. If they have public information listed, if they don't have any public, so some of the people may not have any public information listed, which is shown on bold block on here versus in not bold black. Ask them if it'd be okay if they'd list them, because having them listed but without any contact information is over on the excuse me on the council listings. Having them listed without contact information is less useful than if people knew how to get a hold of them. And some people don't want to. Some people says, well, everybody in my council knows how to get a hold of me. Okay, that's fine. They may not want to have that listed. So anyway, there's more details on how to on that permission stuff. And then any other data that's invalid when you contact them, but this listed my wrong phone number, it's listed that's an old email, then please let us know and we'll get it updated by sending an email to updates@scoutingoec.org, and there's more details on that too. So back to, if they are not still current, then you can do this update status and tell us why. And here's some of the reasons, they're no longer a member. Just click that and it says, they're no longer a member of the BSA. We don't list people who are not members of the BSA on our contact pages. If they say, but I moved to, such and such a council and I'm still active there, then you can mark them as verified that yes, they're still good, but then also select a council. This is a drop down, pick the council, hit the move button here, and it'll move it from your list to somebody else's list, okay? If they've moved and nobody knows where they went, you can hit moved unknown and we'll keep them in the database, but we'll take them off your list, but we'll put them in the unknown list. If they have said, I'm just not involved anymore, I'm still scouting, but I'm not involved anymore, this is a remove requested. If you find out that they've actually died, then we don't want to bother them anymore. And so there's that. Or if you keep trying to get a hold of these people on and on and on, and just they're not getting back to you, your phone calls and or your emails, and you've determined as the COEA that I don't really want to have this person listed in our council if they're not going to respond. There's no sense listing them as a resource and frustrating everybody that's trying to get a hold of them. You can actually just remove them and mark them as unresponsive, and or if they don't have an email or phone number anymore and you can't even get a hold of them, we can certainly mark them that way. That's basically what remove them from the list so that they're no longer listed on your council as an outdoor active resource. Yes, question? Nope. Okay. Keeping the information up to date. Is this going backwards? No, there it is. Okay. Again, mentioned that. I got duplication here. Sorry. This is the page that comes up that says how do you keep things up to date. This reminds you to do your COEA key if you're one of those. If you don't have any valid email address, or if you know of an email address for some of this people, let us know. This is where they would put in their email address and get a link to go update their own information. You can't update their information, but they can update their own. If advocate changes, because the council outdoor ethics advocate is a position approved by the council, we need a verification from your council leadership before posting a change. So we simply need to have an email from your council executive or other designated professional that states that, so-and-so has been approved as the council outdoor ethics advocate for the such and such council. And if we can get that from them, then we will happily make the switch and get that updated in the database. We've had issues where somebody says, yeah, I'm the new COEA, and we change it and we get some really mad people from the council that said that person has never been approved. So anyway, we do have a policy. We verify that. Any changes related to instructors or contacts, etc. If they're no longer active and don't want to be listed, then they can let us know and we can remove them. Okay, moving on. Back to this page then, what else is in here? This is the next step we'll do is your OE surveys. So how many, I guess I can't see hands here because I got the slides up, but have you talked about the surveys? That's something I'm supposed to talk about, I guess. We ask our COEAs, ask them nicely. We don't demand it, but we ask you nicely. It would be nice if you would fill out this form for us each year and let us know what's been happening in your council. And if not much has been happening, that's okay. Then let's get that as a baseline, and then you can tell us about the good stuff that happened next year, and we'll see, oh, great, improvements. So anyway, you pick your council, your COA name. If you don't have one, you can put in none, and then if somebody's filling this out for your council because you don't have a COEA, we want to know who did, because they're a good contact for us. Some council information, and then various things about what training courses have you taught, key training courses. And we really appreciate it if you can do that for us and get us some data that goes to our committee, and so we can basically see what's happening in our OE community across Scouting America. And next one I want to talk about is this OE event reporting, which is an optional tool that you can choose to use. And the way this works is that your council gets this, essentially a virtual private database that you can put stuff into about what's happening with respect to outdoor ethics in your council. And you and your level 1 and 2 instructors, whenever they do something, they can basically fill out our simple form and report that, and it goes into your database. And if it's you get more details here, but if it's something that has a roster and needs, that they can put the roster in, and then you, as the COEA, have this we call administrator access, and you can see a summary of all the events that have been reported, and you can go look at the details that have been reported, and you can generate training attendance reports, and you can do the level 1 course roster submission to Leave No Trace from that database. So you don't have to retype it here, and you don't have to retype it here, and you get a data summary then of all the stuff that's been going on. That basically gives you a summary of the different kinds of things and how many people participated, and that's stuff that makes it easy for you to do your annual survey if you choose to use it. If you're a one-person show and you got all this stuff on your computer, this is probably a little extra work. But if you have several people that are teaching things and you're always having to chase them down and try to get them to let you know what's going on, a bigger group, this could be a real handy tool for you. First part, then I'm going to show you what this looks like, how people submit this. It pops up a form. You have the council. You give your folks their link, and it will look like councils.scouting-oec.org, and with your council name in here /report. And they will then get this form, and they say, okay, so what was it? Well, it was a camporee, and what was the start date, the end date, the training, where was it? Council camp. What state? Who hosted it? Oh, this was a council event, or this was a district event, or this was a troop event. And then the event type, and I'll show you that list later. We have standard types to categorize the stuff. How many youth, how many adults participated, who is the lead instructor, and who helped you, and then who is it that's submitting it? Are there any other comments you want to make? And then just, we used to have, without these things, we'd get junk submitted. So it's the standard thing of verify that yes, this really is a person filling out this form, and then submit your report. And that again goes into the database. There's more information about this whole thing on this OEA Tools event reporting, more details of that. And there's even a demo you can go play with that's councils.scoutingoec.org/demo-console/report. And so you can see that. Here's the categories on that in terms of the kinds of things that you can report. A level 1 instructor course, Leave No Trace basics, et cetera, or other kind of things. If you did a leader training and you taught the OE components of JLTs or NYLTs, other formal trainings, University of Scouting, or, did you do an activity at a district or council event, or unit instruction, or camp? Do you train your camp staff? Do you do something community outreach? This is all data. We like to know that our trainers are out there our instructors are out there doing good stuff. So optional, the roster entry is optional. So for those courses that actually require a training attendance report that's going to go into the participants' training records, we give you this option of filling out the roster here. Whoops, sorry, I can't scroll. It scrolls the slides. And you can either fill it out by hand, or you can use, if you have it in a spreadsheet, you can import the spreadsheet. You might need to change the headers on some of the columns so that our import function knows what's what. But that can be an easy way if you have quite a few people that you need to import and you have your list in a spreadsheet form, you can populate that with the import function. Okay, so that was the left side of that picture. And we're going to talk about the right side of the picture. What do you see? You get a summary page for the COEA. So you have a special login that you are given when we set you up with this. And it basically, you can go to any given year here and see what courses got offered. So we did 2 trainer courses that year in terms of getting them into the database. Total of 2 courses, 13 adults, 7 youth. This was back when youth could take that course. There's ways to look at the details of the event that it got submitted essentially. And if you need to change something, you can have the ability to edit it. You can add a roster if it wasn't added. You can view the roster, and you can do the training attendance submission to Leave No Trace, or training attendance reports, I guess. Anyway, there's a couple things here. I'm sorry, it's hidden by this box. Is it hidden on yours by the box? Anyway. And then the summary at the bottom, part of the summary at the bottom is, also instructors. So how many of your instructors who is involved in how many events? And this statistics is, I only have one type here. Let's get to the next one, which has a few more things. This one had more detailed kinds of things that the statistics say, well, we did a trainer course, 2 trainer courses, we did a 101 course, we did awareness presentation, and had a council district activity reported. And you have the different years that you've been doing things submitted in your database are all up here, so you can look on back years, for instance, too. Okay. So what are the advantages? Your folks have an easy way to report their teaching activities throughout the year. If you're trying to gather all this stuff up then in January and say, okay, folks, what all did you do over the last year? You wait till gathering it then, it tends to be harder. If you can get them to report it throughout the year, it makes life easy for everybody. COA has a summary, details of everything reported. The activities are categorized, easy generation of training attendance reports, and the level 1 instructor roster submission to Leave No Trace. Event reporting is optional. You have to request that. So how do you request that? Contact me, ask me to set up your council for the event reporting. Okay, and there's a link to that email. Real quick, I think we had some CST team leads. Is that right? Are there some of your folks are CST team leads?
Yeah, at least one.
Okay. All right. I'll hit this real quick. And well, if you're the one CST team lead and you already know this, let me know and I can skip it. But basically, CST team leads have a similar tool. They will see, happens to be two different order here, but they can see the annual summary for their council service territory for the past, past years. I guess we go back to 2018 in our database. They can see what's happened in their council, who's submitted annual surveys, and they have a list of contacts as well. And they basically will see the contact lists from all of the councils in their council service territory. So this looks like this. Again, looks very similar to the other, except that you can see there's a council here and another council here that doesn't have anybody, and then my original council that had folks in it, so they will see the multiple councils lists. Again, includes those non-public emails, maintain confidentiality. Annual report status. If you click on that, the status will show you which councils have reported and which ones haven't. And if you want to see what Canyon or what Catalina, for instance, reported, you click on the yes over here and it brings up their annual report for you to look at. And that's it for the CST team lead tools. And that's my wrap for the Outdoor Ethics Advocate tools. Do you have questions, suggestions, or comments?
Ian asked how you got how did you get to the reports? Can you just look at that one more time?
How do you get to the reports? Sure.
Yeah.
Back up here. For Council Outdoor Ethics Advocates?
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting there. They would be listed here. So if your council submitted one, in past years, they would be listed here. And then or if you submitted one this year, it would be listed here. And if you haven't submitted one this year, then it would have the link to the survey form for you to go fill out one. And this is once you get to your OEA tools page, do that, submit your email. It'll, if you're in our database, it'll send you back an email with your link. We call it your key, but your link, probably have some examples I could use, but anyway, does that answer it? And how'd you get to there? Let's back to that one more time. That would be back on. Way back. There we go. Go to OEA tools. There's a page describing things, and one of those things is the box here. Put your email in and submit that to get your link.
And once you request your key, put it in a safe place, because it's something that you'll use over and over and over again.
You can certainly request it again, but then you got to go through I got to submit that. I got to figure out where that form was. I got to submit it, get a link.
Yeah. And then Pete wanted to know if the database, or if somebody is or is not a Scouting America member, is that tied to the YPT stuff? And we don't have access to their YPT status, so that would be something you'd need to ask your council, because our database isn't tied into National's member database.
We used to have a way to look up YPT status for people in general, but I had even had it somewhat automated to have the website go look up that information, but we no longer have access to that. So
what about the state LNT rep? They're constantly asking for updates from just like Tread Lightly. So that's a complete separate set of data you got to send to them, or
Leave No Trace's database is again completely separate from this.
okay.
At probably 5 years ago, we had a major effort between the two of us where they sent me their whole database of all of their MEs, and I compared it to our database, and we got a whole lot of updates done. They were missing several of our. They had they've had issues over the year. They've been really on top of it lately, but had issues over the year where they were just completely missing many of our what at the time was master educator courses in their database. So we got all that taken care of, and they had some updated contact information that we updated from their stuff, and we I sent them a whole bunch of updates. Oh yeah, these 5 people are deceased, and I mean, just it was a lot of work there, and we did it, like 2 years in a row. We have not done that recently because I think their records and our records are in general better. But yeah, if they would be a good source, because if people are renewing their Leave No Trace membership and changing emails and phones, that's happening on a yearly basis, and we may not get those updates. So I should probably talk to them again about doing that. It was a significant effort, but it was useful. But it's not anything that happens automatically.
Thank you. Yeah, because if you've not done your YPT and you've not renewed, it's all individual online now, you start to get nasty emails back at you, man.
Yeah, from council or from national. Yeah, and again, we don't have a way to get at any of that. So again, we depend on you all to help us maintain the list of the folks in your council or your service territory, if you're the team leads. So yeah, look at your list and help us, contact the people, find out if they're still wanting to be part of your team, and if they're not, don't have them on your list. And you find out you got somebody that's not on your list that like took the level 2 training someplace else through another organization, then let us know and we'll get them in the database and get them listed. Hey, no further questions? I guess I'm on here. If you have any questions, if you have suggestions, yeah, please forward them. Scouting or webmaster at scouting-oec.org.